Ash, what you got here?
The new Volt 876.
Lovely.
We've had a lot of fun with it.
We have. We've been tracking drums.
Yeah.
8 inputs, 8 pre's, 8 compressors, all built in. Perfect for drums.
Absolutely perfect for drums. And like I mentioned earlier, I mean, wouldn't it be brilliant 10 years ago if something like that was around? I know like 12 or 13 years ago when I was setting this place up, but it's changed. It's like, you know, here we are. We're in a whole new world. 2
things. You've signed it.
Yeah.
And we're going to give it away.
We are, yes.
There's going to be a link down below how you can enter to win this very same unit that Ash is using, the Volt 876. So go down below to enter to win this lovely unit.
Rhiannon rings like a bell through the night, and wouldn't you love to love her? Takes to the sky like a bird and fly, and who will be her lover? All your life you've never seen a woman taken by the wind. Would you stay if she promised you heaven? Will you ever win? She's like a cat in the dark, and then she is the darkness. She goes alive like a fine skylark, and when the sky is starless. All your life you've never seen a woman taken by the wind. Would you stay if she promised you heaven? Will you ever win? Will you ever win? She rings like a bell through the night, and wouldn't you love to love her? She was alive like a bird in flight, and who will be her lover? All your life you've never seen a woman taken by the wind. Would you stay if she promised you heaven? Will you ever win? Will you ever win? Taken by the sky. Taken by the sky. Taken by the sky. Dreams on wine, love's a state of mind. Dreams on wine, love's a state of mind. Dreams on wine, love's a state of mind. Dreams on wine, love's a state of mind.
Hi everybody, hope you're doing marvellously well. We're big, bad, back and dressed in black. That's sensible music. And we are going to try out the Vault 876. This is Universal Audio's 8-channel version of the Vault we've already used. So this is going to be quite fun. We're going to do a cover of Rhiannon by Fleetwood Mac. You'll recognize the drummer. Drummer is the great Ash So. And we're going to go to his studio and track it there. But let's start by unboxing it. There it is. Now, if you remember, we demoed this before, the little baby one. And what I liked about it was the coloration on the pre's was specifically designed around sounding like a UA pre. And it has 1176 style compressors on every channel. So I feel like this is designed for probably somebody like myself that wants coloration on the mic pre's, coloration with compression. And so we're going to fire it up here in Sensible and try it out on this lovely Fleetwood Mac cover. All right, so what do we got on the front? We've got 2 line inputs and mic inputs on the front. Let's flip to the back. There's the other 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, XLR and line ins. While we're on the back, let's have a quick look out. We've got, oh wow, 8 outputs. So that's interesting. So we can go left and right, obviously to monitors, but you could come line out on all 8 and put it back into a console. So that's good thinking. It's got a word clock in and out, which is great for those of you that have external clocks and you love using them. Optical outputs and in and out. So there's 2 of those. So does that mean we can run up to 24? We'll have to check. And a MIDI in and out. And a USB, obviously there. Oh, 75 ohm trim. Okay. All right, front. Often 2 inputs there. Looks like we have gain set. My guess is you select a mic pre and then you adjust the gain there. You've got 48 volt. We've got the phantom, obviously, for condensers. Looks like we have a phase reverse. It says instrument 1, 2. Oh, I see. So it's got instrument inputs as well. So it's probably got a JFET or something on it. The vintage setting, presumably on and off for every single one. And compression, on and off for every single one. Clock, rate, mode, meter, direct, dim. Oh, that's nice. Dim and a talk back. Alternative speaker output. I see it was on 3 and 4 on the back. And overall mute. And then we got 2 sets of headphones. And presumably overall volume going to our speakers. So let's listen to the tracks. Now, you could probably notice I am not Lindsey Buckingham. And when I learned this song, it was about half an hour before we actually recorded it. Even though I've heard it a bunch of times, I realized I don't know it. And when I listened to it, I was like, oh my goodness, he's playing thumb and 2 fingers, which is great. I mean, I can play a claw hammer, I suppose, with pick and 2 fingers, but I've never, ever learn this part. So let me grab an acoustic and I'll show you quite simply. I mean, obviously this part is fairly straightforward, but he's also going it is only for an absolutely for great guitar players. So, what did I do? Well, bearing in mind I had about a whopping 20 minutes to do it, I put it into 2 parts. So you've got a low string, which is played, to the F as one separate part, and then you've just got the high part as a separate thing. You can blend it however you like, but that is a little bit of open transparency and honesty. I didn't have the time and the skills, quite frankly, to play it as brilliantly as Lindsey Buckingham did. We really like this unit. It's been good. It's really delivered. We took it over to Ash's. Of course, by the way, you can enter to win a signed Vault that he used, that we used on the drums. So don't forget to check that out. All right, so let's get into the mix. I did this whole thing using UAD plugins. So here's the drums. Ash has a very, very unique way of recording drums. So let's go and check out the full drum breakdown of what mics he used and how we recorded it. Hi everybody, hope you're doing marvellously well. Guess where we're at? Where are we? We're at the windmill with the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Ash Stone. How are you?
Good to see you again, Warren.
See you too.
Amazing.
We're going to continue the demonstration. There it is. That was the word I was looking for. Of the Vault 876.
Yes.
You're recording some lovely drums.
Some lovely vintage drums and a lovely vintage vibe, hopefully.
So let's discuss the miking here. I suppose we have to start with snare, because I see an old Unidyne.
I think it's a 60s Unidyne 3, which I really like.
545?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's right. And I guess I think this one came out of a church, and it's like they were kind of PA mics, weren't they? Weirdly, goes very well with that Shure level lock I've got over there. But yeah, that's what that is, a Unidyne 3. I really like it. You know, I know that they're controversial. Sometimes people go, oh, they sound really, really cheap, but I really kind of like it. Certainly on this vintage kit, it sounds like it's correct.
I think people like the 545s and the 546s now. They've got a whole new resurgence.
Yeah.
When people realise a lot of records in the 70s were made with them.
That's right. So I'm lucky to have that. I think I bought it for about 20 quid when I first got it. I don't know what they are now.
Oh, when we were kids at music stores, they were like, give them away. Exactly. Nobody wanted them.
Yeah.
Now, of course, it's vintage.
Yeah.
M160, I see.
The ribbon, which I really love on the hats. People talk about the constant, there's this hat going down the snare mic, the snare go down the hat mic. Yeah. And I'm thinking, well, if anything goes down this, it's going to be nice. If you do happen to get a bit of snare going down it, it's only going to make it.
So you favour it, so you're going to get some stick in there as well, I see.
Yeah, get a little bit of stick in there, and you know, like I say, I'm not worried about it being shielded from the snare or anything. It's beautiful. Love that.
Lovely. The D19, I see you sort of got pointed in the general vicinity of cymbals, which would be hi-hat.
Over this kind of this engine room area over here, yeah. I really like it. The reason it's over, I usually do actually have the level lock on that. And obviously this session today we've not got it, but we left it because it's kind of got that, it's like a lovely mono colour, mainly cymbals, hi-hats and cymbal, yeah.
What is the Shure you've got hiding down
this
here?
Is, I'm not sure of the number, but it's a ribbon mic. It's the most expensive microphone they make. I think like 2,500 quid. But it's really lovely, and you can put it in front of a bass drum. It's a versatile microphone, that. And the reason I've got it sealed off there is because I usually put that through my compressor, my hardware compressor. So I've just got it sort of.
So you just want the direct? You
huddled down, same deal, get in snare and cymbals, and like if I hit this crash, it usually. But for today's session though, it's got a lovely roomy character. Lovely, yeah.
Now, the kick.
Inside is a vintage 421 Sennheiser.
Nice, I see it's one of the grey ones. Wasn't that, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that broadcast grey? Somebody told me the broadcast ones were grey. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that I was very lucky when Psalm closed. I got a couple.
Oh, nice.
Trevor let me have a couple of things that were kicking around, and that was one. Lovely.
Is that a FET?
That is a U47 FET on the outside, so subby and well, whatever you want it to be really. But we think we've probably, I'm not sure what we've done, but I usually roll off all the front.
Right.
So it's more of a sort of subby mic in it because we've got loads of click going on inside.
Yeah, 421's doing all that for us.
Yeah, doing all that.
And then what have we got going on?
I think these are MC 930s, I believe, Bayers, and I really like them. They're, you know.
For the toms. This one's quite open.
That one's quite open, and this is I've got slightly dampened.
Yeah.
Because the part that we're playing, it's like a mix playing, like a sort of hi-hat part, but on the tom, so it's like a riding tom. And I just figured if we just dampen it down a little, it won't get too much.
Just boom all over the place, yeah.
And the original, I was listening to the original take, and it's the drums are close mic'd. Yeah. And it's pretty dry. Well, that whole record, if you think about
70s.
it. But I heard that they initially hired Glyn Johns to do the kit sound, and
interesting.
And they didn't like it because it was a bit too roomy.
Right. I actually didn't know that. I will double check. But
yeah, I don't know. That's something.
I suppose 3 mics. You've got one here, one here.
Thing like they sing on the drums, and they're like, no, we want it to be a little tighter. Right. And of course, that's never going to happen with that. Another thing I heard was, by the time they'd been adding all the instruments and BVs and everything that was added to the that the drums had the original drums had sort of deteriorated. Sure. So they re-recorded them at the end of the session. So that if you listen to Dreams or whatever, the drums are right up close. It's like, wow, it's amazing.
Well, I know on Rumours, Ken said that on Rumours they had 2 tapes. They had a slave and an original, and they were working off probably the original, and you're right, got to that point, and then they had to do a transfer.
And maybe then.
And try and sync up the 2, and apparently it was quite
a thing.
Quite a thing to get tape machines to sync.
We were talking about that 2 tape machines syncing back in the 80s with Trevor and Steve. The Sony couldn't do it, but Steve managed a way.
Yeah, well, Mr. Lipson's is a smart guy.
Yeah.
So here's the settings. So on 1, which is the kick in, it's got the vintage setting. So that's kind of the 610 emulation with no compression. Ash has added a little bit of low bump to the kick. Oh, you got it set quite high, 156. And then when you kick out, you shelved it all the way down below. So about 190, but all the way below, lifted up. You are not shy with EQ, are you?
I quite like being brutal with it, yeah. Because I'm absolutely self-taught, really. So what I would do with snare drums, especially with that fab filter, it shows you the frequency range. And one day I was with one of my higher snares. I was obviously going through and finding the pitch, and I thought, I'm just going to boost it and see what it sounds like in the mix. And all of a sudden it's like, wow. So it kind of just brings the character out of the snare drum even more. I mean, can be pretty brutal, but it can also work really effectively, especially maybe with side sticks.
Right.
So you find, obviously you can see the little peak where it actually is.
Yeah.
And if you just nudge it a little, it can really make the side stick pop out,
On the kick out, it's the comp in, but not the vintage. The snare has both. So I was talking to UA about this. So it's basically, these are the different attack and release settings. It is called guitar. It is called vocal. It is called fast. But the reality is the attack time goes from slower to faster. So they're just guidelines for somebody like, oh, that might sound good on guitar, but honestly, just try it out. You've got 3 settings. Just choose the one that works for you. Compression and the vintage on vintage mic pre on snare. Then the toms, tiny little low boost there. The rack, nothing, just phantom for the buyer. Then on the floor tom, which is next, vintage, again phantom obviously. Six of the hats, obviously no phantom because it's an M160, it's a ribbon microphone, no vintage, no compression. Floor, as we were talking about. Oh, you got a tape on it? Look at you with your tape.
I'd shove some on it just in case.
Okay, yeah. So tape on that, and then another boost. Now the ribbon smash, fast attack on the compression, so that it's fast. It's basically coming in pretty darn quickly. Polarity's been reversed. Vintage and comp, pression. D19 smash, which is that one behind us. Compression, quite aggressive. Vintage, 610 emulation, and 1176 compression with a fast attack time. So let's listen to the kick. Now what I did is I used API EQs. I used the Vision channel strip. Why? Because Ken Calais, who's a friend, recorded Rumours. Obviously the album after this, but I know he did it all in Sausalito on an API console and abused those EQs. So I thought, why not do the same thing? I'm going to turn off everything that's going on here. So this is just a dry kick drum mic. Here's the first EQ. Getting a bit more lows at 50 Hertz, the 240 cut, the 5K bite. Totally exaggerated. So now it's on the kick and the sub, that same EQ. Getting some real depth to it. Now the distressor, just just tapping it. Just allowing a little bit of attack to come through. But I do love a distressor. I've always raved about them. And what's interesting with the satellite studio here, as we're starting to build up more gear, I spoke to Empirical Labs the other day. I was like, I have to get a couple of distressors from you, because in LA I have about 47 compressors, but I've got all of the different individual compressors. And I've always said to people, if you only get 1 or 2 compressors, buy a distressor, because it'll do what everything can do. So here it is. Bit of verb. Now the verb, call it the snare verb here, but I actually used it on everything. And it's a Lexicon 224. I tried out some chambers. You are going to see an Ocean Way chamber in a minute that I used on the guitars, actually an Ocean Way room, but I found that I preferred this. Now we've also on the kick out, got some EQ going on. This is all just that pillowy kind of sound on the kick out. Here it is without anything on it. Together. Let's do a quick check on something here. Yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to do my usual trick where we're going to time adjust the low end so they hear a bit more consistently. So it's 49 samples. So what we'll do is we'll delay the inside kick mic to the outside one, go to time adjuster. Some people move it. I just tend to do this, do it 49 samples, and now we'll get a little bit more low end as those two line up. Off. On. Cool. So snare EQ, again, API Vision, and a distressor again. I'll take those off, and also the verb. Here's EQ. Because he's using a top mic. There's these other position mics that we're going to come to in a second, but just with the top mic, I'm doing a 12.5K boost, an 8K boost, and a 100 Hertz boost. So a bit of body, bit of bite. And then a distressor. Put that together with a kick. Put the verb on. Cool. Now, hats, he isn't even playing the hats, but they're there for a kind of an ambient mic. I don't think he ever plays the hats. Now, his foot will be bouncing up and down on it. So next, really the most important thing is going to be the rack. And the floor. And those are really driving it. So for the rack and the floor, it's what you typically expect. 240 cut, 100 boost. No attack, it has so much attack, particularly the floor, it's all attack. Both of those, but what I also did is like, and this is one of Ash's tricks, is I used the oxide tape on it. He'd already chosen that, so I just used it as well. Take it off. He's hitting it quite hard. It's like, it is definitely tape compression. There's a big argument over what that really means, but smashing it into the tape, it works quite nicely. It's just kind of rounding out some of the transients ever so slightly, even though, honestly, as you can tell, the floor transient is really, really aggressive. There's a lot of... Take that off. With the verb. EQ, tape, really hitting it hard. And then extra bussing of the toms as well. 100 Hertz boost, 240 cut. So all of those things together, plus the two room mics, as it were, and that is the Ribbon Smash, and then of course the D19, the Beatles mic. So those two I actually and I am destroying them with the 176, which is the Tube 1176, just to create some width. Throw it into the whole mix. Now you're probably hearing a little extra schnizzle. Well, the extra schnizzle is the fact that I've got 2 sets of bussing. So my first bus, I'm using an SSL channel strip. This is the one that's not destroyed so much. About 3 dB worth of gain reduction. A bit of boost, about 60 Hertz. I'm using a bit of high passing, probably about 10 Hertz. I've got the Fairchild as well, just kissing lightly, with the fastest release time here selected. And then a distressor on 20:1, like using it to limit just to catch some errant peaks. This is probably the secret. This is what's giving us ultra attack and energy. Is really aggressively compressed, same EQ with a bit of 8K top, a bit of 7.5K top. Then the Fairchild, which is not being hit that hard. It could probably be hit a little bit harder, to be honest. There you go. And then a distressor afterwards. Put those two together. That's our drum sound. That little incredible room that he has at Windmill. He's a great drummer and a great guy. Don't forget, you can win the Vault. If you're watching this in the future, sorry, it's already been won. If you're watching it now, you can win it. So for the guitar sound for Rhiannon, we've got a Fender Bassman. We tried the Deluxe, but we couldn't quite get the tone. So we did 2 things which I think really helped. Well, first of all, there's reverb on this because I was doing a solo, but for the main part, it's completely dry. We've got the new Austrian Audio, the OCS 10, pulled back a little bit to get a little bit of room with the compression on it. And the compression is provided by, well, follow me. Walk this way. Because when I was at Sausalito, making a record, an album or 2, they had a lot of LA3As. So our good friends at Audioscape have made the DA3A. So that is our guitar sound. So it really does it's perfect on guitars. I mean, when I worked with Dave Sardi, that was his favorite guitar compressor. The LA3As are really good. And of course, Audioscape's like perfect, modern, clean, no unwanted buzzes and clicks version, which is all made from NOS, new old stock, is absolutely amazing. So that's our guitar sound. It is the 410 Bassman with the, well, this is what the secret sauce as well. The amazing Austrian Audio OCS 10 going through 1 channel on this little baby Neve here. So, and then that's going into the Audioscape DA3A. And of course, into our lovely brand new Vault, which is the H76, the 8 channel. We are using, well, on this we didn't use the vintage setting because we didn't need to, because we were already going through the Neve. But that's the guitar sound. So for the bass, we did use our Audioscape DA3A as well. Now on here, for the UAD, the H76, we've got 2 settings. We've got the ones without the vintage setting on the bass and without 1176, and those with. So you're going to have both multi-tracks and you can decide for yourself which you prefer. Let's move on to the bass. We have a bass DI, and I'm doing my usual trick. Got some high passing going on, some low passing going on. I can probably do a little bit of so I've got high end taken out. See, EQ out, EQ on, 3K and Not much high end, little boost about 80 Hertz, and that's my DI. I've got a time adjuster just nudging the DI back towards the Ampeg B15. The B15 is the opposite. Just all mid-range. We can go to a bit of 3K. And then those two are compressed together. High passing, probably about 50 or 60, trying to keep it a little bit out of the way of the kick. Throw the drums in. Now, as I said, we have two sets of guitars. I've basically done nothing to them except for put on an LA3A. We tracked through, and of course we used the onboard compression on this to give it the sound. This is what I think is the secret, because when I was listening to the reference of the original, and this is when I was recording it, I thought to myself, well, I can get it smooth, but I can't, it feels like there's a mic pulled back on it. So what I've done is I've used the Ocean Way here, and I've used, see, a 212 cab, and then 3 sets of miking on it, and then just dialed that in really lightly. Is it out? See? Just giving it a little bit of in the room. There's super dry. There's in the room. It's beautiful. Take the LA3 off. LA3, just give me a bit of spank. I think one of the things I really enjoyed about this most, if we go to the backgrounds, for instance, here. I've got the LA3A on each vocal. By the way, when I was in Sausalito, they had more LA3As than I've ever seen in my life, where they did, Rumours. Again, I know this is the album before. And Ken, weren't afraid to EQ aggressively and compress heavily. I know that goes against every single thing that you're told every day on every video. But no, I've worked with all of these guys that made these records, and they use more compression than we could ever imagine. So, don't be afraid to compress where you need to. So a bit of low cut and a bit of air. In the original ones, it's very, very airy. So I've got a 10K boost and a 100 Hertz cut. And that's just on the group. So I thought to myself, how can I get that Rhiannon kind of sound? So all I'm using is just the Galaxy Tape Echo, just the Roland Space Echo. So a lot of delays, but also the reverb cranked up. And then a lot of high end, bass left there, feedback, echo rate, and I've set it to 10, sorry. And it's synced to 8th and quarter note. I didn't learn all of the lead parts, I played my own, so please bear with me if you obviously much prefer Lindsay's lead parts, which I wouldn't blame you. Again, just the LA3A. Now, as for the lead vocal, when you download the Multitracks, we have all the different settings, so you can choose what you want with it. We've recorded it in multiple different ways. We've got the vintage setting with the 1176. We've got the vintage setting with no 1176. We've got just the 1176 with no vintage mic pre-sound, and then no processing at all, which means no vintage mic pre and no 1176. So we printed the vocal in 4 different ways for you to choose what you prefer.
Rhiannon rings like a bell through the night, and wouldn't you love to love her?
No auto-tune.
Takes to the sky like a bird in flight, and who will be her lover?
EQ, bit of 10K boost, bit of 7, so some high-end boost.
Taken by the wind.
And then I just did my usual trick, which is hardware 160 into an 1176.
Rhiannon rings like a bell through the night, and wouldn't you love to love her?
So it's quite aggressive.
Takes to the sky like a bird in flight.
So is the original.
And who will be her lover?
And then for the vocal verb,
all your life you've
pure
never
plate.
seen a woman taken by the wind.
100% wet.
If she promised you heaven, will you ever win? She's like a cat.
Now I've made a blend of all the vocals together on this.
Rhiannon rings like a bell through the night, and wouldn't you love to love her?
That's what I did. Obviously in the original it's just a single, but you can do whatever you like. You can blend them in any different direction. So this was a lot of fun to do. Download the Multitracks, mix it for yourself, have a listen to them all and see what you love. We didn't do any bus processing whatsoever, so you can do whatever you like to it. Have fun with it. Thanks ever so much for watching along. The Vault is absolutely superb. I've really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with the smaller unit, the 476, and now I'm enjoying this because I like being able to use compression and vintage pre's. I like things having coloration, and this does that. It has coloration. It's really rather superb. You can enter to win down below, and Ash signed it the one time he used it, so also get a signed Vault 876.